Hello. Um, I just wanted to share something. About 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, I started really getting a feeling. I was actually awake, but I was really tired and trying to go to sleep. And I just kept feeling this a heaviness in my spirit. Um, and so I just was praying. Okay, God, is there something happening? Is there something I need to pray for? Is there something? And the one thing that God the only thing that I really, no, let me back up. I heard two things from God. The first thing was I kept hearing the word, the, danger is lurking near, danger is near. And I've heard that before uh, several times through the years. The last times I've heard it, it was in reference to the queen, which represents persecution, but not by Muslims, but persecution by those professing to be Christian. Now, the other thing I saw was I kept seeing this beautiful falling star. It was so pretty, but I knew that it represented something unpleasant and dangerous. And I got up and today, and I thought, well, I'm just going to check the news because I still had this lingering heavy feeling. So turned on the news, and I never watch the news. I don't like the news, and I was like, okay, Lord, I'm going to go ahead and turn on the news and see if there's any kind of major story going on. And I think I went right to what I needed to see, and that was that sometime over the course of the last 24 hours, ISIS, okay, we have U.S. troops there, and they're fighting ISIS in Iraq. They're in Iraq. And what I was watching was how that a sulfur plant had been hit by a bunch of bombs or whatever explosives that ISIS had. And of course, that's not a good thing because it's very poisonous. And there was all this showing pictures of all the, the sulfurous gas that was just billowing, sort of. Um, but one of the interesting things that caught my eye was that when they were showing how the sulfur in the water, there on the ocean, there on the coast, uh, it was very beautiful. I mean, it was really pretty. So I don't know if that's what God was showing me. Um, I did think it was interesting that it was pretty, but it was dangerous. Um, there have been so many civilians there that have died, and a lot of them just being used like targets, by ISIS. It's just horrible. So you have to forgive me if I'm very ignorant of things that go on. I just have learned that watching the news, it can be a huge distraction and interpretation as far as what God shows me. So I just don't spend a lot of time watching any of it. Um, Stopped doing that a long time ago because I began to recognize that this was making it more difficult. When God shows you something, I like the idea that we can shut out all the noise that's in the background with news and certain things on social media and things like that. You can shut all that down, and it does make it a lot easier, I think, to hear what God's showing you. So, like if you see something, then after the fact, perhaps check out the news. But you know, I'm still praying about that. I'm going to be praying about it, and the feeling hasn't left me. So I'm not teaching my children today. In fact, I just informed them that we're probably going to be doing some praying and fasting in the next few weeks. For one reason, because of the 31st, and there's a lot of demonic things that go on. Um, and I believe that, I don't really believe that. I mean, I know that for a fact. And because of some things that I went through in my childhood, which I won't go into, but and also because the election is coming up. And though I don't feel the burden to pray, like in deep intercession about the election at this point, it's almost as if the Lord kind of lifted that off of me. I'm still praying about it. And my son, I have one of my children, actually, two of my sons are very tech savvy, and they're very good with computers, and they keep up with things that are going on in the you know, internet community, sort of, so to speak, and how the internet runs. Um, and my son came to me on the 21st, my 19-year-old son, and he goes, "There was a DDoS attack." And I was like, "I don't even know what that is. What's a DDoS?" And so he explained to me that it's where hacker groups or a hacker group will come in and they'll do stuff. They know how to do stuff. I don't even know how to explain it all because I don't really understand it. But what they do is they basically jam up the internet, and it slows down internet for people. Um, and this DDoS attack was what really major, because I think at first it hit the East Coast and then it hit the West Coast. So we're like talking major cities, and somewhere in there it swept through in between. And I mean, I kind of remember that we were having problems like staying connected to the internet and using our Wi-Fi, but I didn't know anything like this would ever existed, that people do these things. So he was explaining to me that it was this DDoS attack, and that they've never figured out who did it. And usually they do. He says usually, there's enough. Um, they do enough work, I guess, these people who know all about the internet, and they kind of find out which hacker group did it. And they had suspected one hacker group that just does a bunch of things for fun. They think it's funny to do things like that, which it's not. But they just, do things as pranks. Well, this morning, my son comes to me and he says, "Here's the news about the DDoS attack." And he said, they can't figure out which group did this. No one is claiming that they did it. No one's coming forward, and they're just not being able to figure out who did it. And but that there is information, and he says this is like a 50% could be true, 50% not. So I have to just say that ahead of time. But because they don't know who did it, and there is a very, very strong belief, and a strong theory that's going on, that um, that was a like a test, okay, a test, and that there is a group out there that they believe now that is going to do another DDoS attack on election day, okay, and it's kind of like it would create almost like a blackout of internet services, and it would slow things down. And if it's a really bad attack, I mean, yeah, this is something that can really affect things. It can even affect the process of the election, which is one of the things that I really feel like God has showed me is going to happen. And yes, I've shared that I think that it could even extend up to the inauguration in January. I really believe that's the time span. But when he told me this, I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and post a video about this, and because it really got my attention, something I would have never thought of. Um, God has given me visions about the internet and how the enemy will use the internet in mighty ways, pretty strong, intense ways. And the biggest way that I've seen the use of the internet by the enemy so far has been through ISIS, because ISIS is basically ran online. It's a nation within itself, you know, and on the internet, in space, so to speak. And it's kind of scary, and it's very productive, and it's worked really well for them. And last I heard, they were still getting at least $1 million donations a month through the way that they're doing this in the internet. So I just want to give you a quick meaning of what DDoS means. D and then DOS, because my son explained it to me. It is multiple compromised systems that are often infected with a Trojan virus. They are used to target a single system, causing a denial of service. And DDoS stands specifically, the first D, distributed, and then DOS, denial of service. Distributed denial of service. That's what DDoS means. So, um, prayer warriors out there, pray. And everybody, this could be something that is helpful to us and maybe understanding something. I would hope that, the White House and all those people in DC are up on this. They're not causing it, I hope. I don't put anything past Washington, but I hope that, that maybe something can be, maybe something, can be done to keep that from happening, because it is a critical thing. I mean, I know that I don't even know how our vote system even works right now, but I do know that there are certain elements that do involve, you know, our technology that we use now. So um, just pray about this. Pray against it if you want. I mean, I don't. I would have to pray against it. I would just have to see it as some way to pray against it, as an attack. It's something that's going to prevent, um, a legal process from happening. You know, so that's all I have about that. And to me, that's much. I mean, the test DDoS attack, they believe, was on October 21st. That was just a few days ago. Um, and for my son to come to me and just say, "Hey, wait, this one's different," because he keeps up with this, and it sounds like gibberish to me, and I don't understand mostly what he's talking about when he shares, when there's one of these kind of things that happen. But apparently he sees that there's something in this to be concerned about. Um, but like I said, and I want to reiterate this because I think that's important. Um, I haven't really prayed about this yet myself. I just got this information. And according to my son, it is one of these things that, it's a 50-50 thing. Like, there's a lot of people who don't think this is what it is. And then there's a lot of legitimate groups and people who are saying that they do believe this is what could be happening. So with that, I will sign off, and God bless you. Stay close to Jesus. Stay close to the shepherd. I really feel like I need to say that today. And don't be afraid, okay? Don't be afraid, because God is with you. You've got to hold on to that word, that he is faithful, he's true, he never leaves us, he never forsakes us. No matter what happens, no matter what happens in the natural, okay? God never changes, and he's in control. He's in control, and if you stay close to your shepherd, because he's going to show you what you need to do, where you need to go, how you need to pray. He's going to keep you safe. So I say that, and I say God bless you all.